this video, we will look at task 3 taken from the same non-fiction text as task 2 in the previous video. You are advised to spend 10 minutes on this task and there are 12 marks available. Firstly, we'll read through the text highlighting any techniques and how this explains it was difficult for the reader to get to his daughter's school. The article then, the earthquake has ended. The writer describes how he sets out on foot to try to reach his daughter Rose's school. Read the text below. In your own words, write down 2 reasons the writer gives to explain why it was so difficult to get to the school. So this is the real reason that we need to focus on this piece of text for now, and then I'll explain how to answer the question afterwards. So, as we set off, a child wearing the uniform of Rose's school walked up with her parents. So he's continuing the anecdote here with the use of we. Okay. And Rose's school, so this is his daughter. I asked them, was the school safe? So we have a short sentence here. We can tell if he's going to try and get up to his daughter Rose's school. It's a short sentence showing then that he is being a bit more abrupt. The earthquake is finished, possibly a wee bit worried about his daughter here. And the concern is showed through the snappiness and the shortness of this sentence. They said yes without even stopping, but they did tell me to avoid the petrol station because it was going to blow up soon. So here we can see he's giving us factual information rather than dialogue from another character or from anybody else that he's seen on the street. They said yes without even stopping. They did tell me to avoid the petrol station. Okay, so now we're getting an understanding of why it's difficult for him to get to the school. And then he also provides one piece of quotation from these bystanders on the road here. The petrol station was gonna blow up. So this is slang. Okay, this isn't our usual standard English that we would use and write in. So we can tell that these people, even that he was speaking to, are being quite abrupt. There isn't time to waste in this situation for trying to get the children away from the school. Another neighbour hurried over to warn me not to go any further because she'd heard that flooding was rising very fast. So here, she'd heard that flooding was rising very fast, another reason why it was difficult for him to get to the school. I didn't know whether to trust them or not. And then we have a hyphen here. So again, a hyphen is used to create a pause or to give more information or for a piece of, to create tension through the dramatic pause. He doesn't know whether to trust them or not, so we can tell he's maybe feeling a little bit skeptical at this moment. Everyone we met had a scary rumour of some sort. So the word scary is an adjective, and the word rumour then has connotations of whispers going around the streets, no real clear facts or indicating that there's truth behind it. So he's feeling mistrustful at the moment, and you can definitely tell then that his tone is more skeptical of some sort. So he's included alliteration here. Again, it's a throwaway type of comment, no real factual knowledge behind this or any statistics to base any information on. So he is feeling very mistrustful. Moving on to the second paragraph, I trudged past cables sparking with electricity. If you trudge, it means it's like a weary walk. So this is a verb, and it shows how tiresome and exhausting this experience must have been. So if you trudge, it's not always the best type of action. I trudged past cables sparking with electricity, cracked pavements, crumbled garden walls, countless collapsed chimneys, and, in the worst cases, houses with entire sides missing. So we have a list here to show the depth of the devastation caused by this earthquake. We also have a rule of 3 here with countless collapsed chimneys, the letter C being repeated there, so that's our rule of 3. Or if you wanted, you could say countless collapsed, or collapsed chimneys is alliteration. Up to you. And houses with entire sides missing. So his language is quite inflammatory here, so he's exaggerating maybe, but it just goes to show the extent of the damage that he wasn't expecting. Thick dust swirled in the air around the collapsed buildings, and people kept wandering in our way. So we have the adjective thick here, thick dust swirling in the air around. So if thick dust is swirling, this is all the debris, any rubble from all these collapsed buildings, and it just goes to emphasize the details then of this destruction that's happened in the street. In the air around, we have alliteration there. The collapsed buildings and people kept wandering in our way. So if you're wandering, this adjective, it means that there's no real direction that you're going in. If you're wandering, you're more aimless. So this describes for the reader then that they haven't a set direction. They're feeling a little bit lost, possibly perplexed by all the devastation and trying to make some sort of sense of it. They're in complete disbelief. Most just looking around blankly. Okay, so the adverb blankly here, if you're looking blankly, you're confused, and that further emphasizes that sensation of disbelief being created through the language here. Others were trying to drive down the wrecked streets, mostly much too fast. Okay, so the word wrecked here is an adjective, and mostly much is more alliteration. Okay, much too fast. So this is his opinion, considering the amount of debris and damage on the streets, the thick dust, you probably wouldn't be able to see very well. So these would cause difficulties for him to get up to the school. The amount of buildings, houses falling down, rubble in the street, electricity, possible petrol station that's about to blow up, it would be a very, very difficult situation for the writer to try and get up to this school safely. So we know straight away that this was a difficult journey for the writer to make. Task 3 requires a different approach to writing your response. We are asked to provide reasons and then separately give evidence to support those reasons. Therefore, we need to split our P-chain answers differently, as we will look at in this sample together. You can see here, point, explain and develop are coupled together and evidence is over on its own. So we're going to structure our answer slightly differently when usually it's point, evidence, explain, develop. So you can see from the question earlier, it said to read the text in your own words, write down 2 reasons the writer gives to explain why it was so difficult to get to the school. So for the reasons, we need to put what we've already read into our own words, and there's a possible 4 marks for that. And then for giving 2 pieces of supporting evidence, so 2 quotations, there's 2 marks available. So this really has to be a good summarising activity here. So the first reason here, information is given to suggest that it was difficult for the writer to get to his daughter's school. So there I've made my point. Many rumours were shared and delivered factually by others on the street to warn our author of obstacles such as floods and potential explosions near the school. So there you can see I haven't given the exact quotation, but I have given some of the points that were made in the text. So there was a potential explosion by the petrol station and the floods were rising. So these could cause delays or dangerous situations that would deter them from reaching their daughter. So I've developed that a little bit further, and now I need to move on to B and give my 2 pieces of supporting evidence. So evidence to support this is, they did tell me to avoid the petrol station because it was gonna blow up soon, and everyone we met had a scary rumour of some sort. So these pieces of evidence back up and give weight to my answers up above here for my reasons. So I should be able to get my full 6 marks so far. Moving on then to C and D, you have to give your second reason and again 2 pieces of supporting evidence. So the text continues to reference the many difficulties the writer faced as they attempt to get to the school. So there's my point made. A list of the devastating repercussions caused by the earthquake is given, which is true in the second paragraph. Several buildings and settling dust from the rubble cause difficulties for the writer as they attempt to reach the school. So there, it's all explained in my own words. There's dust, there's buildings, the electricity and everything that was out in the way. So now I need to give my evidence to support this. So, evidence to support this is, I trudged past cables, cracked pavements, crumbled garden walls, countless collapsed chimneys, and houses with entire sides missing. So as in a previous question, I've included ellipsis here so I don't have to write out the entire sentence, but still the sentence is grammatically correct. I've done it twice here, so the quotation still makes sense. And then my second piece of evidence, and thick dust swirled in the air around the collapsed building. So I would be able to get my 2 marks. I have summarised in my own words the reasons, and this explains why it was so difficult for the writer to get to the school.